Okay, so today I'm dedicating these recordings um, to my parents and my experience with my parents and giving my gratitude for the things that they've done for me and also sharing some of the ups and downs, some of the advice that they gave me when I was coming along. Now, most of you know me as an artist. I'm always creating something off the bat, whether it's a Facebook status, a comic, or whether it's a song, a poem. You know, I've been part of a lot of productions, articles, newspaper publications, and so forth, right? Just to say the least. But this begins at home. When I was at home, when I was a child, my parents, before I could write, there was a storytelling culture in our family where we would sit as a family and tell folk tales. My dad would tell jokes. My mom would tell jokes. My dad would tell folk tales. Tsuro Nagudo. Um, Whatever. Reading Three Little Pigs. Reading all sorts of stories for me and for the other kids that were in the house. But my parents would also challenge me once in a while to write a composition, or you call it an essay, a composition. Maybe whenever we went to the rural areas to see my grandmother, whether it was on my paternal or maternal side, when I came back, my dad would say, "Yo, I want to see a story about this by the end of the week. Tell me how's your experience, but put it in writing." And I'd write. And now, this is before I was ever introduced to writing compositions uh, in the classroom. So by the time, you can imagine, by the time I started doing this in the classroom, I've been doing this like maybe might have been my 20th time writing a composition. When they say, write about my holiday, I'd already had experience in writing that. So I'd then be one of those kids that would write stories that were so good that the teacher would say, "Get this out of the book, put this on a paper. We need to put that on the wall." Or sometimes, "We need to enter this into a literary contest." And I won so many contests as a child. And my parents would reward me for those wins by buying me what I wanted, or whatever toy that I'd been asking for. They would buy me that one if I was passing in class. So my parents had this gamification of things like, yeah, you can get that if you pass. Like if we're just roaming around town and I see a bicycle, I want a bicycle. I want a, if you pass. I want a video game. If you increase your study time, yeah, we can get you that bicycle. And if you pass, or if you, then they figured, of course, the kid is gonna pass. But okay, no. If you make it to the top 10, or maybe if you make it to the top 6, or maybe if you make it to the top 5, that kind of thing, you know. And that wasn't a problem. I could put that work in if I wanted the thing. And as my poetry evolved, because I'm a kid, I'm growing up, and there are other kids around me, and my parents also they subscribed to. It wasn't DSTV at the time; it was Manhattan decoders that had SABC 123, Bob TV, and Astra Plus or something. I forgot what the other channel was before SABC moved to Vivid, whatever. So I'd get home, watch cartoons too, but I liked cartoons from back in the day, you know. So I always wanted to make cartoons. That's one thing. I think that's another story that I need to make a separate video on the cartoons thing, because right now I just want to talk about the writing. I don't want to confuse stories. So, you know, I'm getting all these poetry. I'm winning all these poetry things at contests and whatever. And I'm starting to see also at the time when I'm growing up, maybe I'm in grade 6, I'm seeing Cisco is out, Cisco's music is out, DMX, Eminem, whatever. Rap is kind of the closest. It's very close to the poetry I like, because I like rhyming words. I already liked rhyming words by then. You know, might have been stick, brick, whatever. But I liked rhyming words by then. So, I remember one of my first bars when I was in grade 7. Everybody screamed that we rocking it, cause you know how we locking it. What? Everybody screamed that we rocking it, cause you know how we talking it. We got this fence, now we talking it. Owns gotta know that we rocking it. That was crazy. I was just putting rhymes together, you know. trying to rap and whatever. And at that point, when my parents figured I wanted to rap, I think by Form 1, Form 2, and I did a recording with some friends, my dad ain't like that at that age for me to be going into the studio or whatever. So it's something that I had to keep on a low. Like, uh, but they figured I wasn't gonna stop recording. I wasn't gonna stop doing music. So they figured, okay, let's transfer this guy to boarding school. But guess what happens in boarding school? I meet Navy SEAL. I meet this other guy called Kudzai Masaire. He's an engineer now. But that guy became the guy whom, if it was holiday, if I go to his house, he had a computer and we knew how to piece up a mic. We never had proper microphones back then. Just take a magnet, some simple magnet, connect it like with mic jack, whatever, because we figured a microphone and a speaker are essentially kind of the same, except the size, and it's just the mic jack and the, we're very experimental and we recorded. Of course, the quality wasn't dope, but we just like to hear ourselves back, and we're using Ntrack Studio, Cubase, whatever, the Cubase of that time or Adobe Audition of that time. And burning that stuff by the time I was in Form 4, taking that to school and people going wild about it when I was in Form 4, Form 6, and my mom seeing that we're doing that, because it's not like, parents are able to tell, nah, this kid is still recording, even if it's holiday. Nah, the boarding thing didn't help. Yo, you guys are going to flunk out of school. You guys stop doing this. You guys are going to flunk out of school and so forth. And of course, it did kind of affect our grades to some degree. It did kind of affect our grades. They were right. And now that I see it in retrospect and seeing how the music industry is, how people get conned, I guess they were right about the academic parts, and I'm not saying I wouldn't have been, if I'd gone 100% on this, I wouldn't be a big guy, but I'm just looking at the odds, like, okay, I went the route that I went, and now I still get to rap in my spare time, and I can afford to buy my own microphone. Of course, I don't have a 5-star type studio. I just got a basic mic that you always see. Yep, I'm in a basic room, basic computer. But this is what I love to do. When I started doing it, it was never commercial. When I'm doing it now, it's not commercial. There's a time I thought I could take it commercial, by the way, when I was growing up. And in my adult life, my parents re-embraced my art. When I came out, I remember coming out in the newspapers, Daily News, Newsday, coming out on TV, and my parents showing my relatives and so forth that they were proud of that. And, but art has always been a thing that was like in the family. My sister can draw, like really, no, not what I do. I was just trying to bite her style. You know what I'm saying? My sister can really like draw. My sister, Eunice, she can draw. She can draw you as you are, always had diaries, always were writing poems. She writes songs, like real songs. She can sing. She's in the choirs. My other sister, my older sister, she's in the choir of her church. My sisters are a bit more gospel, and they're a bit more inclined to choirs, So it was always like, even my mom was in the church choir at Anglican. You know what I'm saying? My dad checked out his old books. He used to write poetry for my mom's. I check out, he's trying to, write some good poetry at the back of a book. There's some books that are stacked up in a shelf at home, and he had many Reader's Digests. So that's one of the things that taught me how to write. Like, when I was bored, I'd get in and take some of his Reader's Digests, and then read them up, and then I think I should start looking for Reader's Digests here, because Reader's Digest, I missed that thing. But anyway, I'm saying this to say that kind of, that's my upbringing with art. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad writing, my dad drawing, my dad could draw. But I think his young brother could draw way better than him, because I've seen what he used to draw. My late uncle, I've seen what he used to draw. He used to draw. You know what I'm saying? But at a certain level, our family always also been like, nah, let's go for academia, maybe because it's a safe route, But I appreciate my parents for everything that they've given me, the information that I'm using right now to maneuver and their prayers that I use to maneuver this planet. So my parents always nurtured my art, appreciated my art, but the rap thing kind of threw them off, and I guess rap has got a lot of negative energy sometimes as well, or sometimes there's girls that are not dressed that good, like scantily clothed and whatever, and I can understand why a parent wouldn't want their child messing with that kind of energy. But we're here, and I just want to assure them that, nah, I'm solid in their teachings, and hip hop would never let me be that. Um, and the hip hop I do is conscious at the end of the day. But, like I say today, I'm just appreciating them since it's my birthday. Peace.